When will Joao Felix be great again? When? Because we saw him in his Atletico Madrid era, we saw him in his Chelsea era, we saw him in his Barcelona era, we saw him back in his Chelsea era, we even saw him in his national team era. And I'm still waiting for him to be great. And listen, before you come at me, I'm not saying he's a bad footballer, but he hasn't been, and he isn't currently great. Welcome to the Caroline Salami Show, everyone, and I just have a feeling that I'm going to piss a lot of people off. So to all the Joao Felix fans watching right now, I am sorry in advance. It's nothing personal. I have wanted to see this guy succeed since he left Benfica. I have. I've been waiting. I've been watching every era, hoping on the edge of my seat that I'm going to be left saying, wow, I get it. But here in February of 2025, I still don't. And now the problem is that he has joined my club. So I'm going to say how I feel out loud. This might sound sort of like a venting session, but I know that I can't be the only one out there who feels like Joao Felix at this moment in time is slightly overrated. And until he starts playing otherwise and starts showing us other things than what he has been showing us, how do we keep thinking he's great? I refuse to be gaslit anymore by Benfica fans telling me how unbelievable he was back in 2018. Sure, I'm sure he was that guy. I'm sure he was a superhero. I'm sure he was amazing. But that was 7 years ago.
It's been 84 years.
So help me understand that rationale here, because are we supposed to hang on to boyhood Joao Felix at Benfica and just make all these excuses for him throughout the rest of his career because of how good he was with Benfica and gaslight everyone into thinking that he's this unbelievably creative player that no manager and no team understand, and until he's put with the perfect manager and the perfect team with the perfect tactics in the perfect league, we just won't see that version of Joao Felix ever again. I'm sorry, but that doesn't make sense to me. If he was that good, he would have at least flourished with one of the teams that he has been with in the past several years. And guys, I've heard all of the excuses because I've asked my friends who are big Benfica fans, like, tell me, what do you guys see in him? I want to truly understand the fandom behind this player, okay? And constantly, like, what I hear from Benfica fans or even fans of football or even Felix fans, because those guys are the most loyal, it's like, quote unquote, he needs the freedom to be creative, or he needs the right manager, or he needs the right tactics and the right formation, or he needs the right team, he needs the right league, he needs 5 to 7 matches at 90 plus minutes so he can get his confidence. He needs. What other player in the world has this much cushion to perform? And now he's at AC Milan, which is 5 clubs in the span of 2 years. So at what point do we start asking ourselves, why does Joao Felix need so many variables to go in the right direction for him specifically? Maybe the answer is that Joao Felix we saw in 2018 at Benfica is no longer in the room with us. And yeah, that might be a harsh reality to accept. But when you look at the facts and the history and the stats and even the damn eyeball test, it tells you that maybe that thought process isn't so out there. How many players do you know who have been given that opportunity, that kind of versatility to find their game?
That's a good question.
And yeah, over the last several years, there have been moments where Joao Felix plays beautiful football. When he first started with Barcelona, there were a few games where I'm like, oh my gosh, he's back. But he lacks consistency in quality. It's almost like he'll have these windows of good moments or this streak of good games, and then all of a sudden he's inconsistent. The quality isn't there. But then these are like when the excuses start coming out. Oh, the formation. Oh, how is he supposed to play on this team when there's 4 other players in his position? I don't know, figure it out like every other footballer has had to do. His style of play didn't fit in with Diego Simeone's defensive tactics and the defensive block. Okay. then his style of play didn't fit in with Chelsea in the Premier League, and now all of a sudden there's so many players in positions at Chelsea and Joao Felix doesn't fit into the mix. Okay, he has a decent start with Barcelona, but then isn't very consistent and finds himself riding the bench under Xavi. Okay, so then he goes back to Chelsea and has a whopping 1 goal and 1 assist in 12 matches. But everyone's gonna gaslight me and say that I just don't understand Joao Felix. Okay, but now we're off to AC Milan, because why not? And just to put everything into perspective that I just said, ever since his 125 million euro move to Atletico, he's had 3 loan moves, okay? He's never scored more than 10 goals in a season. And not only that, have you ever really seen a manager or a club truly have Joao Felix's back? Like, oh, okay, he's so talented. We trust him. We're going to build the team around him. We're going to make sure he finds his way. No, there's a reason why this guy is now seeing 5 clubs in the span of 2 years.
She's got a point.
Okay, so now AC Milan are covering Joao Felix's full salary with the full package costing in excess of 5 million euros over a 6-month loan period, okay? He has 6 months. With everything I just said, everything I just told you, do you think Joao Felix will figure it out in 6 months in Serie A, the best defensive league in the world? He has a new league to get used to, a new team, a new manager, new teammates, new tactics, new style of play, new fans, new home, everything. 6 months to turn it around. Would you right now put your money on the fact that Joao Felix stays par the course or that he turns it around? And listen, I've heard so many critics say that this will be the team. AC Milan will be the team that helps Joao Felix find his way. And man, I hope so. I'm a Milanista. I hope that's the case. 1, selfishly for my club. And 2, I have been waiting for Joao Felix to be great again. So I'd love nothing more than to be wrong. Trust me, I hope, guys, that I could return to this video and debunk every single thing that I've said. And I'll fully tell you, I was wrong and this is why. But based on the facts, based on the history, based on what I've seen, the eyeball test, I don't think it's possible. Pulisic, people bring up Pulisic, oh, well, he did it, and he did it for 20 million, and now it's a steal for AC Milan because he had a career year last year with AC Milan, and he's still one of their best players this year? Sure. Not to mention Big Serge, the new manager for AC Milan, Portuguese. Rafael Leao, Portuguese. He has some friendly faces in Milan that can absolutely help him kind of create that safe space where he can find his confidence again. But the reason why I just don't have a lot of faith is that it's a 6-month contract and he is now entering the best defensive league in the world. I mean, guys, I watched Portugal play last World Cup. I watched basically every game last World Cup because I was crazy. And I paid specific attention to Portugal because obviously Ronaldo the GOAT, see, but also like there's so many good players on Portugal. That was a team for me that I said very well could win the World Cup because there's a lot of experience on that team and a lot of new young talent, right? They kind of had best of both worlds. So every time I watch Portugal play, I'm like, okay, let's pay attention to Joao Felix. Let's pay attention to Joao Felix. He can do it. And Portugal at that time when they were playing in the World Cup, it's funny, like I'm sure some of you who watch know what I'm saying. They would pass the ball and keep possession at times, but not do anything with the ball. Like they would never progress into the final third. They would never go into the attacking third. They would never play that dangerous ball. The ball was just kind of passed between each other. And sometimes you'd just be like, okay, like you got to do something. It's great to have possession, but you got to do something with the possession. And I'm telling you, there'd be times where Joao Felix would get the ball and the player would be 10 yards away from him and he wouldn't make the pass. Or there'd be the clear ball through to someone and he wouldn't play it, or he wasn't able to play it. I don't know. I just, every single time I watch him, I'm left wanting more. Like I've never watched a Joao Felix performance and say, wow, what an unbelievable player. What an unbelievable pass. And that's why I just sit here and I scratch my head because I'm like, sure, would I like him to have the kind of success that Pulisic has had in a short amount of time? Yes. Is it likely? I don't think so. And I'm sure someone in the comments or someone watching this by now is already saying, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't understand Joao Felix. He's a creative. And to that I say, I don't really give a shit, because the proof is in the pudding at this moment in time. Facts, stats, history, and the eyeball test. He passes none. Now, with that being said, I love what AC Milan's doing. I love the move on Kyle Walker. I think Kyle Walker was highly disrespected by Manchester City fans. It's like they forgot everything that he's done for that club and how much he's helped them win. So we'll gladly take Kyle Walker. So we've got Kyle Walker, we got Santiago Jimenez, which you want to talk about going kind of in Pulisic's trajectory. I think Jimenez can do exactly that, playing in between Rafael Leao and Pulisic. I think that he's going to find a lot of success. I don't agree with the critics that say that Santi isn't going to do well because he crumbles in pressure situations. The Mexican national team and everything that the Mexican national team deals with is like a whole other world. I'm hopeful that he's able to kind of find his footing in with AC Milan. So we'll see what happens with Santi. And again, I could be completely wrong with Joao Felix. He could do exactly what Pulisic did. I could return to this video in 6 months and say, holy shit, I was wrong about everything. And let me tell you, my ego completely aside, I would tell you I was wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong.
I'll be waiting.
But until we see something different from Joao Felix, how am I supposed to sit here and tell you how great he is when he's not? So the clock is now ticking for him. Only time will tell what happens. I genuinely wish him the best of luck. Like I said, selfishly, as a Milanista, and for the second reason, I've been watching him for years and waiting, and I'd love for the wait to be over. And I'm sure, more than anyone else in the world, he would love for the wait to be over. I mean, I'm sure the guy's been going through hell and back, trying to constantly prove the player that he was in Benfica 7 years ago. So I'm sure he's stressed going into Milan. He's like, shit, this might be my last chance to prove myself. And I hope it works out for him. But in this moment in time, in February of 2025, what is it, the 2nd? I don't even know. February 2nd, I don't have a lot of faith. And that's just based on every single thing I talked about in this video. Good luck to Joao Felix. Good luck to Santiago Jimenez. Good luck to Kyle Walker. Good luck to my Milan. And let's freaking get out of 8th place in Serie A. How embarrassing, bro. We're better than that. We're one of the biggest clubs in the world. I'm fired up. How am I supposed to go to bed now?